Both are wrong, just don't give any new work. Sure. No collapse then. Yes! Here it is, Melanie is here. I believe. I believe. Nice mustache, thank you. Thank you. I plan to keep a beard. I've beard fetish, I'll need to be longer than Santa Claus. Melanie! Yes! Plus 15. Let's go. Hey, what is up guys? Guitar Rock here, welcome back to another Brave 9 video. Okay, so in this video, I want to showcase a plus 12 Seir because I get asked a lot of questions regarding Seir and whether or not she's going to be worth building. So as you can see, I have a plus 12 Seir, so I do have a pretty decent runes on her. It's not the best, but ideally you want to go for 2%, alright? But because I don't have a good percentage, but I have a good flat, apparently the flat seems to give better values for her HP. So as you can see, I'm 2-star max rank boosted in, right? And this is my other rune, 49.08%. Okay, so hopefully we can showcase the battle in ×2 speed and we can talk about it. Let me narrate on what's happening right now, right? So, Seir, is she good, is she bad, or is she somewhat in the middle? A lot of players have been telling me that she's bad. Look at that. She survived Alec right there, okay, at a plus 12. You need to know what Seir actually does at plus 12 and plus 15. So this is the strong ability right here. Let me go and check this particular one. So 12 turns of very high damage reduction, okay, at plus 12. At plus 15, these 12 turns will become 24 turns. So that means it will last longer, right? And therefore you can take more hits. But ideally, as you can see, this damage, it scales down according to the number of allies alive. So the more allies dead, the weaker the damage reduction will be. So ideally, Seir is really strong early on when there are plenty of allies alive. When more allies starts dying, alright, in round 2, round 3, etc., that's where Seir will start dying as well because the damage mitigation is not that high and therefore she won't be able to do much. If you look at the current meta right now, okay, so we have, I know that right now we are revolving mostly in the Seir meta and most of the time you will see most players running Seir and 4 mages, which is true. That sort of diminishes Seir's value a little bit, but not by much, to be honest. Now Seir is still weak against Mamonair or Velter, for example, as you can see right there. Mamonair was in skip, so therefore my Seir was not able to taunt, right? So in situations like this, yes, you don't have the ability to taunt, and therefore it's going to be harder to utilize Seir. But that doesn't mean that she's completely useless. If you look at her damage mitigation potential, she is still going to be a solid overall 5 stars for a lot of players, right? And you gotta always compare Seir with what we have currently in terms of the 5 stars. And a lot of players have been telling me that Seir is not as good as Lucius. Seir is not as good as Mamonair. Now when you compare Mamonair and Lucius, I mean, like, they both have their uses, alright, for sure. Mamonair and Lucius do not have taunt, and Seir does have taunt, right? And if you are a Seir abuser like me, having a taunter is going to give you more value. For example, my top lane right here, right? So if I have a Mamonair or Lucius down here, sure, but my top lane is vulnerable, you see? I have like all the mages lined up, and if an Alec goes in, my Livia and Celia will die, and Velfen as well. But if I have Seir that can taunt that Alec or Vals away, you know, she has already done her job. She just needs to take away 1 or 2 attacks from my offensive lane on top. So that is Seir's purpose. She is not meant to counter Seir's composition or enemies that relies on Seir heavily. She is meant to complement players that use Seir, like me. Because like for example, if you look at my formation, I have 4 mages, right? And in round 1, my 4 mages are extremely vulnerable. So, I need someone to protect these 4 mages. I can't use Mamonair or Lucius. You just can't because they don't have taunt, right? How are you going to protect them? You can use Cecilia for Alec. Yes, that could be an option. But Seir is better because you have taunt, right? So that's where the I think the misconception comes in. A lot of people think that Seir is meant to counter Seir comp, but she's not. She's meant to complement Seir comp. And if you use Seir, you will know what I'm talking about, you know? Like, now this is going to depend on the rank as well, alright? I don't want to say that this is standard for everybody. It's going to depend on the rank, it's going to depend on, you know, your server, whether you are in silver, diamond, crystal, etc. Things of whatnot. Now, I'm on Asia server, and in my Ruby to Grandmaster rank, I constantly see Alec and Vals. Alec and Vals, every time. Therefore, the value of Seir just skyrockets, right? Because she can take away, you know, Alec's prowess in terms of Alec's power. And look at this. This is going to be an interesting one. So Seir is going to hit this Helga, but Seir still has taunt. So Helga doesn't counter Seir's taunt. Alright, the only thing that can counter Seir's taunt is Mamone and Velter. Alright, the reason why Helga doesn't counter Seir's taunt is because her taunt is before normal attack. Alright, so similar to Kaylin, as you guys can see, my Seir is taking hits from Alec, taking hits from Natus right there. Which might not be that impressive to you guys because Natus has fallen off, but still, you know, like if you look at the pattern of that battle, my Seir did her job very well right there, because taking, again, like I mentioned, if she can redirect even 1 or 2 hits away, she doesn't need to redirect like 5 or 6 hits, just 1 or 2 hits from either Alec or Vals, she has done her job. My mage will live through to round 2, my Velfen, my Celia will be able to activate their skills, you know? So that is the purpose of Seir right now in the current meta. Now, here's the question, here's the very important question. Like I mentioned earlier, it depends on the ranks, right? If you face a lot of players that use Alec and Vals, Seir's value is gonna climb. If you face enemies that use like Orfina, enemies that use like Adin, you might not see Seir's value that much because Lucius and Mamone can do that as well, right? And some players are going to compare Seir with the likes of maybe Bane or Kaylin. Those are a bit different. Kaylin and Bane still have their uses for sure, but they are extremely vulnerable to Mamone as of now, right? As of in the current meta. Now Seir gets countered by Mamone as well, they all do. It's just that comparing Seir to Bane and Kaylin, Seir is less susceptible to Mamone's counter because she only hits 1 tile range. Now Bane is probably the most susceptible because Bane has like 4 tile range. There's a very high chance to hit Mamone. And in that battle, as you guys can see, even though the Alec killed my Seir, yeah, that my Seir has already done her job. Like look, I'm winning this battle because that Alec didn't kill my mages. The enemy Velfen ended up killing my mages instead. So yeah, it just went from there. Now one crucial mistake or one crucial thing that I want to mention that I see a lot of beginners repeat is placing their Seir moving later on. Like if you let your Seir move last, you are doing it wrong. Alright, Seir is a character that needs to go first. Alright, so she is there to soak up hits during. The earlier she goes, like if you can see right there, taking the hit from that Vals, the better it is. Alright, so you want her to go as early as she can. I let her move after my S mode immediately. So therefore, the value of her taking a couple of hits is there. Alright, if you let your Seir goes later on, it doesn't make sense because at that point, your units might already die and there are already graves available and her damage mitigation will not be as high afterwards, right? So that's something that you want to keep in mind is if you are using Seir in your composition, you might have to sacrifice your DPS potential. Now this is something that players might have to figure out as well, right? Because some players go with like Alec first or Vals first. And if you use Seir, potentially you might have to sacrifice that and let Seir goes first as an initiator. In that sense, it can make some formation feels really clunky because if you let Seir goes first, she will have the taunt, but you are losing the potential for executing like triple kill with your Alec, for example, early on. But if you let your Alec go first, then if enemy has an Alec, If enemy ally goes afterwards, then only your Seir goes after. Then it feels kind of clunky as well, because then you know you have more graves on your side and your Seir is not as efficient or is not as strong, because the damage mitigation relies on having more allies alive. So it feels really weird, you know, it feels really clunky if you have ally or Vals ideally, because before this I have always let my Vals go first. Now I have to, you know, change the turn order and let Seir goes first. So you gotta like figure out yourself, you know, how you want to go with this, because again, it's all about formations. Alright, you gotta play with it and see what works well for you. Turn orders are very important, so I would suggest play around a bit and see what gives you the best results. Just do like 10 battles, alright, and then see whichever that gives you the highest win to lose ratio, so just stick with that. I know a lot of players right now are still in the resting period or recovery period, because right now we have a lot of we have these Octos, right? We have Mamone, Velvet, Asmod, Vals, and players are still either in the process of building them, or you have already done building them but you don't have enough diamonds to pull for Seir. Now I can totally understand that. For me, I got really lucky. Alright, I managed to get a bunch of Velvet comps, I managed to get some Mamone comps on stream, I pulled Vals comps on stream. I got really lucky with them, and I can see that in my position, building Seir is no problem because I managed to save up, right? But if you are still in the process of building one of the Octos and you are thinking of building Seir, so hopefully this video clears things up for you that Seir doesn't really need plus 15. I mean, sooner or later you're gonna plus 15 her, and of course plus 15 Seir is better than plus 12 Seir, but my point is plus 12 Seir is not completely useless. Alright, she's not like trash or anything like that. So if you are considering on building her for plus 12, you know, go ahead. And I do think that she is gonna slowly climb. Let's have a look at the rankings, alright? Maybe we'll get an idea based on how the usage rates are for her, for Seir in the meta right now. Okay, so she is currently placed 4th. Very interesting. This is on Asia server, by the way. So Mamone is the most used, followed by Lucius, Gran, and then Seir is at 15%. Alright guys, so that is going to be it for this video. With that being said, I did manage to pull my Seir up to plus 15, and most likely I will be scaling her up to plus 15 after this video. I've been waiting for a long time to make this video first before I plus 15 her, and yeah, hopefully this is enough of a showcase of Seir's plus 12 strength in Ruby to Grandmaster battles, so you guys can judge it for yourself, alright, and think. So that's gonna be it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and if you do, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like, make sure you guys turn on the notifications as well. I will be live streaming tomorrow, doing some arena and hopefully showcasing Seir plus 15's true potential. As always, have a nice day. Goodbye.